Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Hedera and Hbar, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. But before we jump on in, I just want to ask, how's everybody's day going? How's everybody's night going? Don't know where you guys are, but I'd love to hear from you guys. But for the most part, I still am expecting lower on the market. I'm definitely waiting, for lower on Hbar as well. I've been telling you guys, like, my ape zone is 4 to 5 cents. Yes, I'm still expecting that. I'm being patient. I'm waiting. I have been averaging into a few positions. Uniswap is also one that I just recently took a position on. I think it was like last week or so, where I took a position. It was like on this major dip here. I think it was like $3.80 that I got into. It wasn't like the perfect, bottom, buy. But when we really kind of look at the all-time chart for this, the upside potential is pretty significant. And I have been addressing, some lower price action even on the DeFi gems. Like, for an example, like in November of 2020 would be a perfect time to jump in if we do get these prices yet again at around like $2. But the reason why I am focusing on DeFi gems as well is just because we have been seeing a large amount of them doing some pretty significant moves, like, for an example, synthetics, which is up 102% in the last 7 days. Huge. But I also do think that Hbar's price action after the market stabilizes, we're going to get there. It's just going to take some time. We got to fully bottom out first. But the price action after that will definitely be something to be patient about because, again, these bottoms are like, that's where like you're going to basically change your life from, a financial standpoint. But let's actually talk about a few things. So Cointelegraph posted this article just the other day saying, these use cases could bump Ethereum to a $500 billion market cap. And this is actually from a few Reddit posters that are talking about Ethereum, speculating about the value behind Ethereum, and they're talking about real estate, for example, in terms of like the uses for smart contracts, most likely tokenization. But they are also talking about a few other things. For an example, we're seeing here, while there have been no applications yet, the real estate industry can prevent closing day wire fraud through the security offered by smart contracts. We also seen universal trustless authentication is the best use case for smart contracts. Believes a use case letting people prove who they are without a doubt could spur positive price action for the digital asset. And then we also seen another Redditor bring up several other use cases, including decentralized certifications and financial contracts. They also highlighted the importance of DAOs. According to them, Ethereum is a global interaction platform that enables a new class of organizations. Now, the funny thing about this, right, is that, these use cases, to me personally, I mean, they're large. I've actually talked to you guys a little bit about real estate and how if we can tokenize it, going after a $300 trillion plus market. But to me, like a $500 billion market capitalization is pretty much nothing, especially for a large amount of these assets. The reason why I bring up this article in regards to like Hedera is because we know that Hedera is outpacing Ethereum. It's going to take time for us to actually get to that level, but I think that we could see a $500 billion market cap within the next couple of years, probably around like 2025 to possibly even 2030. And that's like being conservative on a timeline. Again, like I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot predict exact time frames or anything like that. But I will say this, a $500 billion market cap for, Hbar, to me is inevitable. It's going to happen. We just don't know exactly when. Obviously, this would bring the Hbar price to about $23.71 or an upside of 322x with the current circulating supply. If we talk about like the total supply, you're looking at like around $10 in terms of like the total supply. But we also talk about like it hitting a $1 trillion market cap, which again, to me personally, yes, it will happen in time. We just don't know when that time frame will actually be. But also, we did see a few other, quotes about this specifically. So a lot of people ask me, why do you hate on like Ethereum? Why do you look at all these other layer ones? Well, it's the simple answer to that question. Sorry, and it's the idea that like we're seeing major inefficiencies being focused on from a large amount of these networks, like even for an example, Ethereum. And we really kind of look at it like this, right? There's no point in us solving energy sapping problems with energy sapping solutions. We had to find the most energy efficient solution, and the obvious choice was Hedera. Now, when we look at things happening around like Hedera, for an example, or even other layer ones, we look at like even XRP, XLM, etc. These are, networks and assets that are part of a very energy efficient network that are not only solving many problems, but they're also extremely scalable. they're secure, transparent. Like, these are the things that really do matter. Ethereum, to me, will always be here, but it's definitely not going to be the number 2 asset for the longest time. Similar to even Bitcoin. Bitcoin will not be the number 1 asset forever. And I think that a large amount of people really kind of look at that and say, no way, it's going to always be there. It's always going to be the number 1. It's not. Things rapidly change. There will be other kings. There will be, many other crowned winners in this market. And I think that will change once we do see, a utility-based market. Now, talking about this and talking about use cases going live, for an example, we are definitely looking at Atma.io. Yes, we just recently did a video on this. In fact, they are talking about Hedera basically, utilizing it for billions of unique items, aka transactions. Almost everything that happens on this will be a transaction. But the reason why I bring this up is because they are already expanding this product. For an example, we've partnered with LA-based companies. I'm not even going to, try to pronounce this. Transnomatica, I'm hoping that I'm saying that right, and Ron Herman to improve the fashion resale environment utilizing our digital care label solution powered by Atma.io, connected product cloud. Now, with this, right, they are expanding this overall, use case before it even goes fully live on Hedera. I love to see this. Now, obviously, this is going to take a little bit of time to build as well, but these things are like, it's almost like Rome, right? It wasn't built in a day, if you will. This is the trust layer of the internet at the end of the day. To me, I've always looked at Hedera as being the trust layer of the internet. This is not going to be built quick. It's going to take time, but time is of the essence. In my opinion, having the patience to actually hold to see the true value unlocked is going to be not only a test of patience, but it's also going to be a test of how dedicated are you to actually seeing this ecosystem be built. And all while it is taking time to build, you could also diversify. Like I've said, I'm looking at DeFi gems. I'm looking at other assets. I'm in other networks because at the end of the day, there is not a clear just one winner. To me personally, like I have been looking at Quant, I have been looking at Chainlink, I have been looking at Uniswap, other, DeFi gems as well. Like this market is vast. There's a ton of opportunities. But while we wait for things like this to be built to actually fully be, realized in value, we can hodl and accumulate other assets as well. And I always say like diversification definitely is a key for success. Now, talking about this, we also do see a major update about the LCX partnership. So shout out to Coinman, the Hbarbarian. I just talked to you guys about LCX in a video just the other day. We do see here, who remembers the announcement last July of a strategic partnership between LCX and Hedera Hashgraph, right? And that is this partnership here from July 19th, 2021. Hedera Hashgraph and LCX to develop an infrastructure for digital securities. Again, going back to this, initial use case here, talking about like tokenization of like real estate, we will be seeing tokenization of the stock market. And I think that this is something pretty incredible when you actually look at it, but we do see here the network to establish a new standard for security tokens and tokenized digital assets. LCX established one of the world's first regulated and compliant blockchain ecosystems for professional investors and recently received approval of 8 blockchain registrations by the Liechtenstein regulator, more than any other company in the country. And they are going to be leveraging the HTS service for this. And of course, you can read all about this if you guys want. I think I just recently talked about this actually in an Hbar video, talking to you guys about how big this use case could actually become. And we've seen IronSight Crypto actually post a major thread on this. And we see here the market is down, fundamentals haven't changed, billions if not trillions of dollars in private STOs, Hedera and LCX partnership to develop infrastructure for digital securities. And we do see down here, this is basically talking about how big this use case could actually become. And just to kind of skim through it, because like I don't want to read the entire thing, but we are seeing like, the inefficiencies right now of utilizing, like for an example, like issuing private securities, secondary trading, etc. The value of private securities is lowered to account for the absence of liquidity, limiting issuers from reaping the full value of the underlying asset. And we do see significant costs apply not only to the offering itself, but also to the ongoing process of being a public company, including rigorous regulatory and report requirements. In other words, the cost effectiveness of public securities is low compared to private securities. We do see here, to make sure private STOs are compliant and follow the rigorous regulatory requirements, LCX has paved the way to be compliant crypto exchange. Now, we do see down here, LCX STO Launchpad is an end-to-end tokenization platform combining a technology solution with key compliance and legal aspects. It is compliant with regulatory requirements that now must be addressed in order to enable the adoption of securities on blockchains and transform the private securities market. And of course, just recently, LCX believes in regulation. LCX is continuously engaging with policymakers, regulators, and financial institutions, and will routinely participate in financial and security audits as well as regulatory compliance reviews. They're continuously working with them, and honestly, we do see down here, since 2020, LCX AG has gained regulatory approval to operate the following services under registration: TT, exchange service provider, TT token depository, TT key depository. And we also do see TT price service providers, TT identity, service providers, token generator, token issuer on its own, token issuer on behalf of the clients. And when we talk about how big LCX will be and even Hedera, it's going to be something pretty significant. Again, I've always said this could get to the point where we will see hundreds to even trillions of transactions. I think I actually just talked about it within the LCX video as well. This is something fairly large. And remember, right, the underlying foundation of this has been already connected with Quant, as LCX has partnered with Quant as well to build out something like this. So when we really kind of look at the overall use case value behind this, this could easily push the value of Hbar to $100 billion plus market capitalization. Not to even mention LCX's, market cap, as LCX is an extremely low capital, gainer, or gem, and the gains on it could definitely be huge. So, again, focus on these fundamentals. LCX is such a massive giant. I've seen a lot of people really kind of loving that, video and talking about even Hbar in that video because, again, even going back to all the way to 2021, they have been definitely working on something like this. And I definitely think that when we really look at things happening around crypto, we are basically getting to the point where a large amount of these networks and these tokens are doing huge things that people are just overlooking simply because of price action alone. And I think that that's why we should definitely look at fundamentals, because this market is very volatile. Prices will change day in and day out. We will have, 100% plus moves with 100% moves to the up, to the down, 50% here and there. Things will move rapidly, but there's one thing that stays consistent. And that is, if you choose the right projects, you will see continuous, fundamentals being, targeted, missions being, taken. And when we really kind of look at the journey, Hedera definitely has been on a massive journey to success. And for the longest time, I even tweeted this out on my Twitter just last night. And it's probably down here because I retweeted a ton of things today. But I was basically saying, I can't believe how fast. So I was here. I said, I still can't believe the amount of announcements and growth I've seen on Hbar in just a year alone. This makes me even more excited on the long-term growth of this project. And like I said, even if you look at the fundamentals behind Hedera, even if you look at, the announcements just recently and really kind of have, a clear view on it, if you did your research on the use cases, we'll see that, $500 billion in market cap or something like Ethereum, right? With use cases that I've been talking to you guys about for a very long time already kind of being built and happening on Hedera, it truly kind of opens your eyes to the value that Hedera will derive going forward. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all, have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.